Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to some brunch baseball right here at Sparky Anderson Field. We have the resummation of a game that was suspended due to darkness back on June 28th. The Oaks and the Orange County Riptide set to duke it out here on the baseball diamond. The Oaks lost yesterday's game in a rough one, but today is a day to make up for that loss. There's two results that will be in the books, in the history books. And today, result number one is pending. Then we have a full game of baseball for you between these two teams at either 12 o'clock or 30 minutes after this first game discontinues. Jordan Brenner, myself, Jonathan Rifkin, our producer Sean McKinnon on hand for you for the resummation of this game and the second game today. Thank you so much for making us a part of your Sunday morning or afternoon plans, depending on where you're watching and how you're watching. We appreciate you making us a part of those Sunday activities. So where we left you off back on June 28th at about 8 o'clock, the game started at 5:04, so it was almost a 3-hour game at that point. The Riptide were up over the Oaks 8-4 going into the ninth inning. What happened? The Oaks put up 4 big runs. They batted around in the ninth inning and ended up tying the game. Thereafter, they called the game due to darkness and suspended it until today's date. And now we're going to play it out. Let's talk about what has happened so far here, Jordan. The Oaks put in Angus Denton in the top of the ninth. He gave up a hit, then struck out 2, and and got Simpson 2 ground out. That was it. Then in the ninth, when the Oaks were trailing 8-4, Brandon Lewis led off with Brandon Lewis did not leave off. Tanner Wright led off with a single. Michael Spears then doubled right to third. Brandon Lewis had a 2 RBI double to make it 8-6. Elijah Alexander then flew out to left for the first out of the inning. Chase Cockrell walked, and then Tyler Ryan pinch ran for him. And then Sam Shaken hit into a fielder's choice and ended up scoring on a Drew Sims pinch hit RBI single. Michael Tillman then came up to the plate and knocked in an RBI single, scoring Andrew Lucas, who came in as a pinch runner for Drew Sims to tie up the ball game. And then they called the game after Bryce Vick got out due to darkness, and they have to play it out today. Here's how the game went in terms of the line. The Riptide scored 2 runs in the first inning to the Oaks 1. The starting pitcher for the Oaks was Kevin Holcomb. He went an inning and 2/3. Neither team scored in the second or the third or the fourth. The Oaks tied it up 3-3 in the fifth, but the Riptide responded in the top of the sixth inning with 5 big runs. The Oaks could only muster up 1 run. The Riptide responded with 1 run in the seventh. The Oaks got a run in the eighth to make it 8-4. Then Denton held the Riptide in the ninth inning to only 1 hit and no runs, and the Oaks exploded for those 4 runs to tie up the game and force it into extra innings. The Conejo Oaks are 1-for-1 on the season in suspended ball games. They won last Saturday in SoCal, and today it's going to be a little bit interesting. We're going to talk about the field here in a minute, but Jordan, the Oaks coming off a loss yesterday. This team is a different baseball team, if you will, than on June 28th when these two teams met in the second game of the season. Obviously, the Oaks lost the first game to them. What do they do here in a suspended game? How do they bounce back from the tough loss yesterday to eventually try and find a way to get this win in extra innings?
Well, I think you have to be confident that the gang's all here today. You're going to have your star reliever on the mound to start off extra innings in Angus Denton. Brandon Lewis was absent for personal reasons yesterday. He's back in the lineup today, and there are a few major storylines at play going into these extra innings. First off, the Oaks could walk off for the first time this year. That'll be an exciting thing if it happens, a boost to this team for sure going into another game today and a busy stretch over the next few weeks. In addition to that, Brandon Lewis is a triple away from the cycle. Let's say a runner gets on for Brandon Lewis. He triples in that runner to hit for the cycle and walk off. We're talking about a moment we'll be talking about for about a decade after today.
It's going to be interesting. Brandon Lewis got the Oaks lone run of the first inning with that solo shot, the second batter of the home half of the first. Then he walked in the third, singled in the fifth, and doubled in the ninth. He was only retired 1 time. That was in the seventh by way of a strikeout. The Oaks were without their slugger yesterday, And it's amazing how much he actually anchors this offense, Jordan. We talked about yesterday how the Oaks would try to respond without having Brandon Lewis in the lineup, and they couldn't. They left the bases loaded twice in the game. They left a total of 11 runners on base, including 9 in scoring position, and they ended up only putting up 1 run after out-hitting the Orange County Riptide. It's amazing how the dynamic changes, and with Chase Cockrell struggling, they need Brandon Lewis in there to really anchor this offense.
I think one major thing that isn't discussed enough is Brandon Lewis's importance to this team. When Brandon Lewis is gone, Chase Cockrell assumes all the pressure in the world. Yesterday in big spots, Chase Cockrell came to the plate with the chance to tie the game multiple times, and he simply didn't look like he was playing within himself. He was swinging for the fences, trying to take on the entire burden by himself, put everything on his shoulders. With Brandon Lewis there, Chase Cockrell is allowed to be Chase Cockrell. He's allowed to take pitches, work at bats, and do what Chase Cockrell does best, which is bash a baseball. The same thing goes when Chase Cockrell wasn't here. Brandon Lewis struggled a little bit at the beginning of the season. So when both are in the lineup, both are able to stay within themselves and really maximize their production.
This is how the Riptide are going to look in the top of the 10th inning. Angus Denton from Arkansas will still be out there. And they have the 9, 1, and 2 hitters due up. And Paul Gomez from Mizzou, Thomas Delgadillo, who's playing right field yesterday. He was unbelievable in that right field spot. He saved the Riptide so many runs. But Delgadillo will be batting at the top of the order, but at second in the inning. And Luke Bandy, the big center fielder from Dallas Baptist, will be in the second spot, but batting third in the order. The Oaks have some changes. This is going to be a kind of complicated because Will Pickett's had to come in yesterday for Tanner Wright early in the game. Tanner Wright went down with an injury. And Tyler Ryan also got injured. He rolled his ankle, and he is unavailable today as well. So this field looks a little bit interesting. Coach Solis had to really put his best mind into creating this Oaks field here in the 10th inning. This is how it will look, or this is how it looked previously. This is how it will look now. Michael Spears from Ole Miss is still in right. Elijah Alexander from UT-RGV is still in center. Chase Cockrell started the game in left. After he walked in the 9th inning, Tyler Ryan came in to pinch run for him. Tyler Ryan got injured in yesterday's game, so he will not be able to play today. So Andrew Lucas, who's headed to CSUN in the fall, will be in left field. The infield is also very different. We have never seen an Oaks infield look like this. Brandon Lewis moves from first to second base. Will Pickett's had to be taken out of the game because he was pinch hit for by Drew Sims in the 9th inning. So Pickett's is out. B-Lou moves from first to second base because the Oaks don't have Tanner Wright today, and Sam Shaken has to play short. Raymond Gomez is no longer with the team, so they don't have a second baseman. Brandon Lewis, who has not played second baseman in years, we were told, is going to be playing second base. Bart West takes his spot in first base. At short is still Sam Shaken. Now, because Tyler Ryan is injured and Chase Cockrell is out of the game, Zach Kamenko, the normal UNLV catcher, is going to be playing third base for the Oaks. This is his inaugural day at third base for the Canadian Oaks. We'll see how he does in the third base position, and Bryce Vitt is still behind the dish for the Oaks. So the field currently looks as follows. Spears in right, Alexander in center, and Andrew Lucas in left. Bart West at first, Brandon Lewis at second, Sam Shaken at short, and Zach Kamenko at third. Bryce Vitt from Sonoma State still behind the dish. There will be a different field for the Riptide as well, but we'll talk more about that in the home half of the 10th inning. The game was set to start at 11:05, but everybody's still waiting. The Oaks still warming up a little bit, so Lee's talking to our umpire. So we're going to take a break. 8-8, going into the 10th inning. The umpires will meet with the coaches here at home plate in just a moment. And when we come back, we'll give you the national anthem and reiterate the starting lineups as well as first pitch in a suspended ball game, a ball game that means a lot. This result could change the playoff picture, and the second game today could really have an influence on who gets that second seed versus who gets that fourth seed. And I guarantee you neither of these teams want to play the Foresters in the first round, which means that it is going to be a fight today in both of these games. Stay tuned, folks. We got a good one for you. 8-8 going to the 10th when we come back. Starting lineups and the first pitch. You're watching Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. It's complicated, but it's fun, and we'll be right back. back here for the national anthem. We're going to send it to our PA announcer, Ramsey, and then we'll come back for our starting lineups and first pitch. Nice acoustic rendition of our nation's anthem here at George Sparky Anderson Field. Some Sunday brunch baseball, and we appreciate you making us a part of it on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. My mistake. And we note the World Cup was earlier today, and this perhaps is the second biggest sporting event going on. We'll give France the 4-2 edge, and the Oaks hoping to get some magic of their own here in the 10th inning in a game that started 1,490,616 seconds ago, or 24,843 minutes ago. First pitch was at 5:04 on June 28th, and today we're looking at an 11-12 first pitch here in the 10th inning. He's Jordan Brenner. My name is Jonathan Rifkind. Today is going to be a fun day of baseball. The Oaks coming off a tough 6-1 loss yesterday against the Riptide. The Oaks won a 5-1 game earlier, and then this game tied 8-8 going to the 10th inning. So far the season series is tied 1-1. Both these teams fighting for that number 2 spot in the playoffs with the Healdsburg Poom Packers. The Poom Packers don't play any league games this weekend. The Oaks are a full game back of the Riptide right now. If the Oaks win today in this first game, they'll be tied with the Riptide for that second spot, and they'll be tied with Healdsburg for that second spot. We're talking about a 3-way tie. That makes the second game of today, the full game, that much more important. That game is set to begin, I'm not going to say 12 o'clock because we're getting a late start here in game number 1, but probably about 12:15, 12:30, or 30 minutes after this first game concludes, depending on which one comes first. But it looks like Paul Gomez from Mizzou is going to step in, and we're getting you ready for some Orange County Riptide versus Conejo Oaks baseball with Angus Denton on the mound. The game resumes in the 10th inning here, 24,000 minutes later. Denton comes set. Gomez on the day is 1 for 3 in this ball game with 2 strikeouts and a single. That pitch misses low. First pitch time here in the 10th inning is 11-12. 84 degrees with wind blowing slightly out to right center field. The Arkansas dealer, the 1-0, slapped over to short, shaken on the third hop, fires it over to West at first, and out number 1 here in the 10th inning is on the board. Denton came in the 9th. He actually came in the 8th, my mistake. Went 1-2-3, gave up a single to Chase Sebi, but struck out McWhorter and Hawkins, and got Yekic to ground out to get out of the jam, and the Oaks were able to put up 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to come back, and then the game was due called darkness.
I saw Nick Ringcover warming up pretty heavily before this game, so if Denton gets through this inning and the game carries on for a little while, expect to see Ringcover take on multiple innings.
New batter here is Thomas Delgadillo. He was amazing yesterday in the field. He really robbed the Oaks of potential extra base hits and runs as well. He struck out 3 times in this game as he hits a high hopper over to Shaken. Veering to his left on the move, fires it over to West, and 2 6-3 putouts. And 4 pitches in, puts 2 outs up on the board here in the 10th inning. The line shows 8 runs on 18 hits and 2 errors for the Oaks. 8 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error for the Orange County Riptide. The Oaks are in the navy blues today with white numbers on the front outlined by baby blue and white numbers on the back. The Riptide are in their orange uniforms with blue numbers on the back and blue letters on the front, both outlined by white. Here comes the first pitch to Luke Bandy, swing and a miss, strike one. The Dallas Baptist product, the most productive Riptide in this game. He reached base 4 of the 5 times he came up. He had 2 walks. He's 2 for 3 in the books. The 0-1, a strike at the knees. And Denton at 72, perhaps the slowest pitch we've seen this season from him, is ahead in the count.
He's got some type of frisbee curve working today, Jonathan.
Side armor deals. Fastball low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Denton has been unbelievable. He leads the team in ERA, especially after the 4 runs that Dylan Francis gave up yesterday. That was a rough start for the Cal Poly Pomona Mustang as the 1-2 pitch comes in. Swing and a miss on the slider. Denton has 3 strikeouts recorded in this game. And in the 10th inning here, he retires the Riptide 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We're actually going to keep it here because I want to talk about the Oaks side of things. It is a heck of an order. And for those who are just tuning in, I'm going to reiterate what happened. So yesterday, and the line is actually incorrect on our side of things. The Oaks actually have 18 hits, and there's actually 11 hits. It just has to be flipped on the hitter side, so I just wanted to clarify that. However, leading off for the Oaks will be Bart West. Tanner Wright was in the normal 9 spot, but Tanner Wright was injured in yesterday's game. So Bart West is going to come in. Tanner Wright went 2 for 4 in the 9 spot, and he was big. He had a big single in the 9th to spark that Oaks 4-run inning. He led off the 9th inning. So Bart West will come in his place. Michael Spears is in the number 2 spot, but batting at the top of the order for the Oaks. And Brandon Lewis is in the 3 spot in this inning, but batting in the 2nd spot. Elijah Alexander is behind him. Zach Kamenko will be in the cleanup spot for the Oaks in the 5th spot this inning, coming in place of Tyler Ryan, who came in place of Chase Cockrell. Tyler Ryan got injured in yesterday's game. So Zach Kamenko will be in that cleanup spot. Sam Shaken behind him in the 5th spot. Will Pickett is out now. And Andrew Lucas is coming into his batting spot in the 6th spot. Michael Tillman in the 7th spot. And Bryce Vitt still in the 8th spot for the Oaks. He would be in the 9th batter in the inning if the inning extended that long. Though it would be impossible to because the Oaks would then walk off. So, that is what it looks like. The field here for the Riptide. Delgadillo's in right, Luke Bandy in center, and Aaron Simpson comes into left. Brandon Alamo's at first. Josh Nikoloff's at second. Paul Gomez is at short. Austin Soika is at third. And behind the dish is Cooper coming in place of Chase Sebi. The pitcher on the mound is Brandon Ivey, the left-handed pitcher from Texas. Jacob Parker was the pitcher that gave up the 8-4 lead in the 9th inning. And now Ivey will have to find a way to stifle this Oaks offense as Bart West comes in here to begin the bottom of the 10th inning. 1 run would give the Oaks the win. First pitch up and away for ball 1.
Jonathan, who's going to step up today? Last week it was Tyler Ryan. Somebody has a chance to emerge as a hero right now.
West swings and misses at a low fastball to even the count. I don't know, but all these guys have the star potential. We've seen so much clutch game in and game out from almost every guy in the lineup. And without Tanner Wright, who would be a huge benefit to this team right now, it's going to be interesting to see who hits for contact. Fastball at the knees. West finds himself down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bart West on the season, 286. Leads the team in walks and strikeouts, 28 and 13 in those categories. 1-2, straight to center field. To his right, Bandy makes the catch for out number 1. Looked good off the bat, but got caught up in that jet stream and was pulled towards center field. Now Michael Spears will check in. This was his first big game for the Oaks. Really sparked what ended up to be a big hitting streak for him. In this game, he had 3 hits. He's 3 for 5, a double, 2 singles, a ground out, and a pop out. And he grounds the first pitch for strike 1 out of play. Spears on the season now as he digs back in. Batting .203, that's creeping up. Leads the team in stolen bases. He's 11 for 12 in that category. The 0-1 from Ivy drops outside to even the count. Some brunch baseball. Happy to be along with you. Go ahead, Jordan.
I was just going to ask where the pancakes were.
I was thinking about bagels. Spears pops one high into the infield behind home plate. Cooper gives way to Alamo, and that ball's fair. It hit off of his foot, and that is a fair ball. That went out of play. And if Spears knew that, I think that he would have taken second base. But nonetheless, a very intriguing single here from Michael Spears. And no, they're going to call it an error on the first baseman, Brandon Alamo. Nonetheless, the Oaks have a runner on here with one away. The game-winning run now at first base with the big bat of Brandon Lewis stepping in.
Jonathan, that ball started behind home plate in foul territory. Spears gave up on it. Little did he know the spin was going to bring it back into the field. Had he been sprinting the whole way, which you can't blame him for not doing with that ball, he could have been at second or even third base.
Double play ends the inning. A run ends the ball game. First pitch to Brandon Lewis outside, and that outside fastball here was called on Tuesday against the Oaks, and they took most of them in the 7-2 loss against the Foresters. And right here, the same exact zone. Brandon Lewis, the most productive Oak in this one. He's a triple shy of the cycle. Waves and misses at a changeup for strike two. Absent yesterday after some personal matters he had to tend to, but the Oaks are very happy to have him back in the lineup, I tell you that. Double single and a home run in this ball game. He has 3 RBIs. Slices that one up the middle and into center field. Spears is going to round second. Is he going to test arm a Bandy? He will. The throw comes in. And it's in time. What a tag by Soika, and Spears gets gunned out on the 8-5 putout. Brandon Lewis standing at first with 2 outs now.
You love the aggression from Spears, but ultimately he hesitated for just a moment rounding second base, and that's the difference maybe in this ball game, because if he gets to third base with less than an out, there's a good chance Elijah Alexander could drive him in to win the game. Now 2 outs, only a runner on first base. The Riptide in prime position to get out of this one.
And I'm surprised the Oaks didn't do a hit and run with Brandon Lewis up and 1 out, but Michael Spears tried to dig into third and couldn't get it. Elijah Alexander steps in, takes a strike at the knees. He's 1 for 5 in this ball game. Single and RBI in the 5th. A strikeout in the 3rd, a fly out in the 1st, a ground out in the 7th, a pop out in the 9th. I apologize, that was out of order, but I thought I'd start off with a single. The 0-1. This is low and away. And it's funny, when you look at a left-handed batter taking those outside fastballs, they're called balls, but with this umpire in this zone, the right-handed batters are getting the same pitch on the opposite side of the plate, but they're being called strikes. A little inconsistency here. Lefty on lefty matchup. 1-1 pitch. Bounces in the dirt. Lewis takes second base as Cooper mishandled the throw, is not in time. And that wild pitch puts the Oaks with a runner in scoring position. Brandon Lewis, well, he may not look it, actually has some speed out there. He's second on the team in stolen bases. And if Alexander knocks one in the outfield, this game could be over.
What an awesome read by Brandon Lewis. The ball dropped in the dirt for just a second. Lewis was all over it. Did not hesitate and sprinted to take second base.
Swing and a miss on a fastball in the dirt. 2-2 here for Alexander. Every Oak capable, but Alexander has that clutch gene. He had 2 walk-offs this past season for UTRGV. We'll see if he can pull one out here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2-away, man on second. Ivy checks Lewis and offers. Low, and Alexander takes it for 3-2. On the season, Elijah Alexander has been really good. 325 is his batting average. 2 home runs, 11 RBIs. Trying to tackle on another one and end this game. Payoff pitch. Up into left field. No, it's into the glove of Gomez. That dropped very quickly. And just like that, the 10th inning is over. The Oaks had an opportunity to score, but they couldn't capitalize. No runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and a man left in scoring position. We're through 10 innings now. 11 is on the other side of the break. It's going to be Josh Nikoloff, Austin Soika, and Brandon Alamo. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up. Angus Denton back on the mound for his 4th inning of work in this ball game, but his 2nd inning of work on the day. 8-8, 11th inning when we come back here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network.
Columbia, number 8, Josh Nikoloff.
Josh Nikoloff, the Columbia, I think they're the Lions. I don't remember what
they are. The Lions.
They are. Okay, the Columbia University Lion digs in here. Welcome back, everybody. In the 11th inning, free baseball on a Sunday brunch time. A fastball misses low for ball 1 to Nikoloff. He came in for Steve Curry back in the 8th inning on June 28th and grounded out to third in his lone at-bat. Denton back on the mound. Deals that one hit to right center field and drops. Nikoloff gets on base here to lead off the 11th inning. The Oaks have not played more than 11 innings this season. They played 11 innings back on June 8th in Compton in a game that the Oaks won 8-7. John Vergara was the save man in that game. And now they're in the 11th inning today, over 25,000 minutes after the first pitch back on June 28th. Runner on first for Austin Soika, and he's dangerous. The Oaks have to be careful. He's 3 for 5 in this game. Takes a pitch low and inside for ball 1.
Had a big 2 RBI hit yesterday to Soika. Somebody you got to be very careful to. One of the best pure hitters on this Riptide team.
Calls Oklahoma Wesleyan his home. Pickoff attempt. Nikoloff slides back easily. He has some speed out there at first. Couple of stolen bases on the season. We'll see if they hit and run him or put the stealing sign on. 1-0, misses inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Soika has 3 singles, an RBI, a run scored, a strikeout, and a line out in his 4 trips in this ball game. Actually, it's 5 trips in this ball game. 2-0 pitch, misses low and inside, and Angus Denton finds himself in unfamiliar territory, down in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Game's going to get hotter as this day goes on. The 3-0 misses upstairs, ball 4. Denton walks his first batter in this ball game. The line for the Oaks pitching-wise, Holcomb started off the game. He went an inning and 2/3. He gave 3 hits and 2 runs, 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. David Appleby came in to relieve him. In 3 1/3, Appleby went 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Then Jerry Ramirez came in, 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 was earned, and 1 strikeout. First pitcher, Brandon Alamo, is in there for strike 1. Denton here is the 4th Oaks pitcher of this ball game. So far, 2 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts to his day. Brandon Alamo getting his first at-bat here in this game, coming in place to Chase Sebb. He takes that one low for another, or actually swings and misses, excuse me. No balls and 2 strikes.
Jonathan, it's really interesting. This is a key double play situation for the Oaks. I'm curious to see how Brandon Lewis would handle that.
The 0-2. Change up outside. Had Alamo hacking at it, and he fights to stay alive. And the Oaks have that third baseman who's normally a catcher, Zach Kamenko, in that position. It'll be interesting to see if the Cats the Riptide, my mistake, try to test him, and maybe he can turn 2. That'd be pretty phenomenal. Denton deals the 0-2 once again. And another one foul, this time to the first base side.
See, if I'm head coach Jason Smith here, this is a perfect bunting opportunity. Lay one down to the new third baseman, Kamenko. You get both runners over in scoring position with only 1 out if the play is successful. I honestly don't even know what he's thinking here, even with a really good hitter at the plate.
0-2 slider swung on and missed. Angus Denton bounces back from a walk with his 4th K of the day. His 2nd here today, but 4th K of the ball game. And that puts an out up on the board. Now a very prominent double play situation. Brandon Lewis playing second base for the Oaks for the first time in an Oaks uniform. You were told that he hasn't played second base since his early high school days. And Sam Shaken at short. Those 2 guys can turn 2 very well. A first pitch inside for ball 1. Cooper is the new batter. He came in for Mason McWhorter back in the 8th inning in a defensive spot, but in the 9th inning he struck out in his lone at-bat. 1-0, fouled off. Evens the count here. Cooper was the first strikeout victim of the ball game for Angus Denton. And Denton would probably like to tack on another one or force him to hit into a ground out double play. Here comes the Arkansas Razorbacks. 1-1 slapped over through to left field. Rounding third, coming home is Nikoloff. The throw comes in, but it is a wild one. And that is an RBI go-ahead single for Cooper. The Riptide lead 9-8 here in the 11th inning. Over to second base is Austin Soika.
It was just a good swing to find the littlest hole through the left side. If that's right to shake, and that's a tailor-made double play. But this time the Tide is in the favor of the Riptide, and they go ahead. This game is not over, though. Denton needs to get out of this right now.
First pitch in there for strike one to Daniel Hawkins, the Sonoma State Seahawk. On the day, he's also been pretty productive, 2 for 4. A double, a single, 2 runs scored, a walk, and a strikeout. Runners on first and second, 1 out. A slider swung on and missed for strike 2. A balloon slider just kind of hung over the heart of the plate at the last second, tailed outside. And as a hitter, I don't even know how you come close to catching up to something like that. The Oaks have 19 hits. The Riptide have 13. Both teams have 2 errors. The 0-2, skied to center field. Alexander running forward, makes the catch and holds the runners at bay at first and second. Almost mistimed it. He looked surprised that ball was going to be in front of him, but the fastest guy on the team, one of the fastest in the CCL, and one of the best route runners I've ever seen out there, corrals himself and makes the catch.
Yeah, even if you misjudge the ball for a second, if you have Elijah Alexander's speed, it really doesn't matter. He made that play look much easier than it actually was.
Out Simpson coming in place of Bradley Yekic. His first at-bat of the ball game. He came in a defensive change out in left field. First pitch is low for ball 1. Yekic in the 8th spot. His day is done. He had 1 single. He reached base 3 times, one by way of an error and a walk. Flew out and ground on his other 2 at-bats. Fastball misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes now to Simpson. Aaron Simpson from Ball State University. Plays alongside the former catcher in this game for the Riptide, Chase Sebby. That one Taylor made to short. Shaken bobbles it, tries to corral it over to first. And it's not in time. Bart West thought he had Simpson by a step. But the error at short puts the bases loaded now. And Paul Gomez stepping in. That is an uncharacteristic bobble on a tailor-made grounder to short.
Shaken was just the product of a bad hop there. It happens to the best of them. But in a big moment like this, it's a play you have to make.
The Oaks now have 3 errors on the ball game. Bases juice. First pitch to Gomez is line in the left field. Past the diving glove of Kamenko. 1 run comes in. A second run comes. The throw is in time and a tag is down. But Soika came in to score the second run of the inning. The score is 10-8. And it will be a very interesting bottom of the 11th inning. The Oaks will have to play from behind. 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. We're through 10.5 here at Sparky Anderson. The Oaks trailing 10-8. They have Zach Kamenko, Sam Shaken, and Andrew Lucas. All 3 guys very capable of changing the tide here in the bottom of the 11th when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. The UNLV Rebel, Zach Kamenko, cleaning up here. And how big does that pinch runner that pulled Chase Cockrell from the game look now if you're a Riptide fan? 10-8 the score. The Riptide put up 2 runs in the top of the 11th inning. The Oaks will look to try to respond here and not lose this game. Kamiko takes one in the left field. The first pitch he sees from Ivy. Single. And just like that, one pitch, one on here in the bottom of the 11th inning.
I love that dog mentality for Kamiko. He's not wasting any time. He's not dwelling on the tough 11th inning that the Oaks just went through, top of the 11th inning that the Oaks just went through. A big hit to get the tying run to the plate in Sam Shaken.
20 hits for the Oaks in this game, but only 8 runs to show
here. Getting on base would be enormous, especially with Andrew Lucas on deck, a guy who craves extra bases, and he gets it quite often.
The lefty offers the 2-0. Shaken takes a strike at the knees. 8 runs, 20 hits, 3 big errors for the Oaks. 10 runs, 14 hits, 2 errors for the Riptide. Big game. If the Riptide win this, they're a game and a half up over the Oaks for the second spot and a full game up over the Healdsburg Prune Packers in the playoffs. 2-1, swung on and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Shaken. In yesterday's game, Sam Shaken went 1 for 5. He had a double, 2 flyouts, and a strikeout. He also had a pop-out. We'll see here if he can turn the tide. He's been hitting consistently in games, but he's going mostly just one hit. Takes a pitch low for a full count now.
Fantastic take from Shaken. You could tell he really wanted to swing at that one. A sinking fastball that started at the knees, but dropped below the zone, and Shaken was all over it. Great take.
Middle infield, hoping for a double play. Ivy checks the runner a couple times. The payoff pitch upstairs, but Shaken takes a swing, and he fouls it off to live for another at-bat. That was a very scary pitch to take. The Oaks have been catalysts of swinging and missing high fastballs all season long. Shaken was able to adjust mid-swing and find a way to get the top of the barrel on the bottom of the ball. Kamiko takes a step and a half lead off of first. Nothing too threatening. The payoff pitch once again popped up into right field in foul territory. A couple of Riptide players almost collided. Nikoloff makes a very athletic grab that was very unnecessary. I think Alamo out of first base would have had it regardless, but nonetheless, out number 1 up is on the board now.
I actually think Alamo lost that ball in the sun, and that was an unbelievable play by Nikoloff at second to be able to carry the weight for his first base, make a great play.
How about the camera work from our producer, Sean? He does some incredible SB nominating stuff here on the broadcast. 1 out, runner on first. A double play would end the ball game. The Riptide up 10-8, but one swing of the bat, which Andrew Lucas possesses, could change the tide. The first pitch, a strike on the outside corner. Lucas had a single and an RBI in his lone at-bat. Coming in place of Will Picketts, who was pulled in place of Drew Sims. We'll see here if Lucas, the Ventura County High School Player of the Game, or the year, excuse me, can change the game. But right there takes a slow ball on the outside corner. He's down in the count 0-2. Michael Tillman waiting on deck. Runner on first. 10-8 to score here in the 11th inning. Ivy offers the 0-2. Way outside. Lucas held back. 1-2 the count. Lucas has really been heating up as of late, too. He swung at some really bad pitches in the month of June, but he's learned to adjust. He's worked with the coaching staff, and he has become a very big offensive threat for the Oaks. The youngest player in the prospect game. Takes that one. Called strike 3 on the outside corner, and there's that outside pitch that has been the Oaks' Achilles heel all season long. 2 outs now, 1 out away from this ball game being over.
And that's something that Lucas is going to learn as his career progresses. In a moment like that, you just can't leave the bat on your shoulder. Anything that's close, you have to swing at. It's just an unfortunate learning experience.
Michael Tillman now steps in and takes a strike at the knees. Through the 5th inning, he was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. He was the first strikeout for 3 different pitchers. But then he went 2 for 2 with 2 singles and 2 big RBIs. He ended up hitting the RBI that tied the game in the bottom of the 9th inning. He has a lot of clutch. We'll see here if he can whip it out. The 0-1. This is inside to even the count. Kamiko still on first. The Oaks have had a big problem trying to advance runners to lead off of innings, getting on base. That was their biggest problem yesterday. And it could pose another problem here today if they lose this game. Ivy deals the 1-1. High to center field, though Bandy has plenty of room. Veering to his left, takes a look and makes the catch. And this ball game is finally in the books. 25,143 minutes later, this ball game has concluded. The losing pitcher goes to Angus Denton, his second loss of the season. The winning pitcher goes to Ivy, his first win of the season. And the final line, 10 runs on 14 hits, 2 errors for the Riptide. The Oaks get 8 runs on 20 hits. That's the second highest in the season. And 3 big errors. Jordan, we're going to make it a quick post game. It seemed very slow out there for the Oaks. They got Kamiko to lead off in the 11th, getting on. Michael Spears got a very fortunate error on the Riptide infield to get him to first base. Brandon Lewis was able to single him around, but the aggression, I think, didn't pay off. It was high risk, high reward, and the risk was not worth it. He was thrown out at third, and that could have been the difference in the ball game had he stayed at second base.
Yeah, I think that's the key to this extra inning loss for the Oaks. You can look at what Denton did and say, critique maybe he didn't have his best stuff, but I think it has to go back to the Oaks' chance in the 10th inning to win the ball game, getting Spears on with a base hit, Brandon Lewis another base hit after him, and then Spears, that hesitation, rounding second base, trying to advance to third base, getting thrown out there was demoralizing, and the Oaks ultimately couldn't recover from that.
Game number 2, but the first full game of the day is tentatively scheduled for 30 minutes from now at 12:10 West Coast time. We're going to get an update here when we sign off on the broadcast. Officially, like I said, it's supposed to be 12:10. That can be pushed now to 12:30. There could be between a 30-minute and a 1-hour courtesy period. The new broadcast link is up on our YouTube page. We'll put it on the website for you here once we sign off. And we will keep everybody posted on the new time on Twitter, and we'll come back a little bit earlier than normal to keep everybody posted on when a first pitch is scheduled in game number 2 of the day, but the first full game. Once again, the final score here after a long hiatus, 10-8, the Riptide take it. The Riptide on the season now a game and a half up in the second spot. They move to 19-11, 13-9 in the CCL. The Oaks have dropped to 15-13, 13-12 in the CCL. Well, we're going to sign off. We'll see you in a couple of minutes on the new stream. For Jordan Brenner and Sean McKinnon, my name is Jonathan Rifkin. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you very soon in the change of the day from AM to PM, and still a great day for baseball. You have been watching Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. 30 minutes, we'll be live for game number 2 of the day.